Hey guys, Breezy CPA here, your certified public accountant, back with another video. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest accounting news and industry trends, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have any ideas for future videos, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this sad but hilarious article here. Deloitte refunds the Australian government $440,000 for an error-riddled AI-generated report.
It's been revealed Deloitte used artificial intelligence to prepare a report to the federal government's Department of Employment and Workplace Relations. The department spent $440,000 on this report, which contained errors and a made-up quote from a federal court judge. Deloitte has now issued a partial refund.
The report by consultancy firm Deloitte was handed to the government a month earlier, and the Sydney Uni law lecturer was going through it line by line.
And so I just continued to study the footnotes, and they just continued 1, 2, 3, 4. In the end, there were more than 20 mistakes. I recognised many of the references because they're names of my colleagues, and I'm in the area. It's all about regulation. And as soon as I saw that books were attributed to my colleagues that I'd never heard of, I quickly concluded that they were fabricated.
So we've been talking a lot about the incorporation of artificial intelligence within the big four accounting firms and across a multitude of industries. But when it comes to accounting, a lot of these accounting firms are now putting a lot of money into the artificial intelligence and seeing whether or not they can replace the human component with artificial intelligence in generating these reports for clients because, of course, they can pay a lot less. They don't have to pay the salaries for these employees, and they can use these AI systems instead. But as I mentioned in the past videos, this is going to come and bite them in the butt. But I didn't expect to see it so soon. But here we have a case with the Australian government and Deloitte. In a striking case of irony, consulting giant Deloitte Australia has agreed to refund the final payment of $440,000 contracted after admitting to using AI, specifically OpenAI's ChatGPT, in a report riddled with errors. The report was commissioned by the Department of Employment, and it was meant to review an IT system for automating fines on welfare recipients. Instead, it contained fabricated academic references, a made-up quote from a federal court ruling, and even a misspelled judge's name. So this is what happens when you don't have the proper systems in place and the proper individuals to oversee these AI systems and verify and check what is coming out of these artificial intelligence systems. You end up with embarrassing situations like this for Deloitte. Here we can see some of the deletions from the report from Deloitte. There were 10 references that were deleted for a publication that did not exist. There were 2 references deleted for a publication that did not exist here with the rule of law. There was a quote that did not exist. It was just purely made up and fabricated by the AI. One of the judge's names was incorrectly quoted here. Judge Davies was quoted as Justice Davis, and 2 references were deleted here again. So there were a number of references in this report that had to be deleted because some of them were absolutely fabricated by artificial intelligence. Some were misquoted, and some just didn't even exist. So the saga began in July when the initial report was published. Within weeks, the Sydney University academic Christopher Rudge flagged issues suspecting generative AI hallucinations. The report cited 3 non-existent academic sources, including works attributed to Professor Lisa Burton, and a fictional report by Professor Bjorn Regnall. Most egregiously, it included a fabricated quote from a landmark Deanne Amato versus the Commonwealth case, misnaming Justice Jennifer Davies as Justice Davis and inventing a passage from paragraphs 25 and 26. The onus of proof lies with the decision maker. A person's legal rights cannot be curtailed based on the assumption unsupported by evidence. This quote was sounded compelling, but was entirely fictional. So AI just went off on its own, created something that sounded good, spouted it out, and Deloitte just went with it. Nobody was there to verify that this information was actually correct. Deloitte initially stayed silent. So, believe it or not, Deloitte didn't even acknowledge this at first. They just stayed quiet about it. A revised report was quietly uploaded on Friday before the long weekend. Coincidentally, Australia's Labor Day, removing a dozen fake references. However, as Rudge noted, instead of replacing one hallucinated citation with a real one, Deloitte added 5, 6, 7, 8 new ones, suggesting that the original claim lacked any basis. It's highly likely that they asked ChatGPT to fabricate a justification, and it did, Rudge remarked. So not only did they at first stay silent and not acknowledge that they had used AI for this report, but then they went and used AI to try and fix the report they had initially issued. So this is, these are the pillars of the accounting industry. These four big accounting firms: Deloitte, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCooper, and Ernst and Young. And when you see these types of situations where these are supposed to be the most ethical, most moral, and the most dependable accounting firms in the industry, where the governments of countries are going to these accounting firms to get their reports, and you see that they are just entering this information into AI without any verification process, without any checks and balances in place to verify that that information is correct. It brings into question the entire industry as a whole. Uh, in an updated report's methodology section, Deloitte admitted to using a generative AI large language model, the Azure AI ChatGPT 4.0, licensed and hosted on the department's Azure infrastructure. Rudge called this a veiled admission of fault. So, Deloitte didn't straight up come out and say, we're sorry, we didn't mean to do it. They kind of tried to mask it. This isn't a strong hypothesis anymore. Deloitte has confessed, albeit buried in the methodology section, to using generative AI for a core analytical task without initial disclosure. So initially, they didn't even disclose that they had used artificial intelligence to generate this report. Then they stayed silent when it was brought to their attention that some of these quotes and references were completely fabricated. And then they buried within the methodology afterwards that they did, in fact, use artificial intelligence. The fallout has been sharp. Rudge argued the report's recommendations are now unreliable. So this is the issue with relying on artificial intelligence. It brings into question the credibility of your firm as a whole, and it's very embarrassing for one of the big four like Deloitte to have an issue like this come up so soon with artificial intelligence. When the foundation of a report is built on a flawed, undisclosed, and non-expert methodology, its recommendations cannot be trusted. I completely agree with that. So, what are we doing here? We are paying these big accounting firms for these consultations and these reports, which are supposed to be the best of the best reports that you can get. because you're paying huge amounts of money to these big four accounting firms to get these reports. And all they're doing is entering that information into an AI system and sending you whatever that system spits out without anybody even verifying that information. Part of the probe into the consulting firms didn't mince words. Deloitte has an issue with human intelligence. It'll be funny if it wasn't so sad. So it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. A partial refund seems like a partial apology for a substandard work. Perhaps clients should just buy ChatGPT subscription instead. So this is one of the issues. Why would a client pay a consulting firm to generate these reports when in theory you could use the same generative AI systems on your own to generate the report on your own? You are paying for experts to put together these reports for you. And now it looks like, a lot of these firms are becoming more and more dependent on artificial intelligence, and it's coming to bite them in the butt. The incident serves as a cautionary tale for the consulting industry as firms lean into AI to boost efficiency. Deloitte's mishap underscores the risks of over-reliance on tools like ChatGPT without rigorous human validation. So this is exactly what needs to happen. You can use these tools, especially for, as I mentioned in the past, for low level tasks. But no matter what you're using these AI systems for, you still need humans to validate the information that the AI system is putting out. You need that human validation. For now, the refunded amount is a small price compared to the reputational hit, and a reminder that even the AI consultants can fall prey to the technology's pitfalls. So I think that this is going to be a cautionary tale, but I by no means think that this is going to be the last instance of these types of issues that we are going to be seeing in the future. I think they're going to become more and more prevalent as the dependency on AI grows. And we've seen that, especially with the big four, they are investing heavily in artificial intelligence. And this was a technical report. So I didn't see any financial figures associated with this report. But if you can imagine, that they're going to be using AI for, heavy tax consultations or heavy auditing of companies, that if you over rely on these AI systems and you don't have the proper human skill set in place to verify the numbers that are being spouted out by these AI systems, that you are going to be seeing more of these issues in the future, and it is going to tarnish the credibility of the profession as a whole, especially when you have the big four accounting firms running into these issues. People are going to start wondering, who can we rely on if you can't rely on the biggest companies in the world to do the right job when it comes to auditing your financial statements, doing your taxes, or providing a proper consultation report for whatever issues you have. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that Deloitte is going to learn from this? Do you think that we're going to see more of these types of issues in the future with the reliance on artificial intelligence? What do you think that should be done in the future to make sure that these things don't happen again? But I guarantee you we're going to be seeing more and more of these types of AI related issues in the future. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.